The next question is another one by Rules, or maybe it's PG Rules. I don't know. It reads, have you read slash watched Rurouni Kenshin slash Samurai X or and Shaman King, the two main works of Oda's, the creator of One Piece, teacher and fellow mangaka assistant under him? Whew, that's a lot of words. And if so, what is your thoughts on them? Okay, first of all, Shaman King and Rurouni Kenshin were not written by the same author. Shaman King was written by Hiroyuki Taki, and Rurouni Kenshin was written by Nobuhiro Watsuki. Unless you meant that Oda, creator of One Piece's teacher, was Watsuki, and Oda's assistant or one of his assistants was Hiroyuki. Now I'm confused. Now, putting aside all this confusion with whose assistant and whose teacher was whom, I have watched both Shaman King and Rurouni Kenshin. I have yet to watch Samurai X, though I have heard glowing reviews of it. I have watched Rurouni Kenshin all the way till the end. I haven't watched Shaman King all the way to the end, but I think I got pretty close. I watched Shaman King when it was on, let's see, 4Kids had a hold of it, I believe, and I think I watched it on either the Fox Box on Fox Kids. Yeah, I think it was on the Fox Box with Fox Kids. I watched it on that channel, so I watched the English version of it. And for Rurouni Kenshin, I also watched the English version of it with my brother. We watched it before when Toonami was still running, but then when Toonami left and a few years later, we decided to come back and watch it all the way through again. And let me first talk about Rurouni Kenshin because that's the one that I am most knowledgeable in. I liked Rurouni Kenshin for the most part, although I felt that well, here's what I think. I think that Rurouni Kenshin should have ended after they defeated the fire-burned bandage guy. I know his name. Do not comment. I know his name. But you know what I'm talking about. The mummy rap guy. I think they should have ended it after they defeated him, because that seemed more of a better wrap-up of the series. Everything after that point just felt like either filler or it was added on at the last minute. And the strangest one of all, the final episode of Rurouni Kenshin, I mean, there was live footage of the ocean, but Kenshin and Karu were on a live beach. It was like Roger Rabbit, but with anime, and I have no idea what the heck that was about. It's the strangest thing, one of the strangest things I've ever seen in an anime series. Every time they do anything with live action stuff, it always seems weird and out of place, and it was really out of place with Rurouni Kenshin. As for Shaman King, I watched a big chunk of it, and I thought it was okay. was a fun little show-in series. I do remember that I did read a lot of the Rurouni Kenshin manga. I've read a lot of those. I haven't read it all the way through, but I have read a big chunk of it, and whoa! If you want to have a history lesson of the Meiji era in Japan, just read Rurouni Kenshin manga, because that thing is chock full of information about the Meiji era. It's astounding. You could use it as a history book. And it's fun. As for Shaman King, it was okay. I think I liked Rurouni Kenshin a little bit better. Yeah, that's what I have to say about those two anime. The next part of the question reads, have you ever watched Trigun, the anime, not the manga? And if so, what is your thoughts in it, and which question about this series would you have preferred they answered most of all? What kind of otaku do you take me for? Of course I've watched Trigun. I mean, what honest-to-God good otaku hasn't watched it? Pfft. Honestly, who do you think I am? I'm the MangaMan, bitch! Of course I've seen Trigun, honestly. For I am not just a man. I am a MangaMan! All joking aside, Trigun, a legendary anime in and of itself, a part of the top tier of anime legends such as Cowboy Bebop and Outlaw Star. Trigun, the anime that was featured on Adult Swim, featuring the voice actor of Ichigo, aka the Black Power Ranger. It's a classic, no doubts about that. But with any classic comes legends, come folklore, come questions about the series. For example, what exactly are Vash and Knives? Are they plant children? Are they energy beings? I mean, are they aliens? What exactly are they? What events transpired before all the people crash landed on that dust bowl of a planet? But the biggest question I have is the ending of the anime. Now, many of you that don't know, the manga picks off right after the anime ends. And in fact, the manga is a little different. In the duel between Vash and Knives, Knives is the one that defeats Vash, while in the anime, it is Vash that defeats Knives. I have yet to read up to the point to see the differences, but I do know that much, and it leads to a lot of questions as to the anime-wise. Like, what is Vash gonna do with Knives now? Is he gonna try to rehabilitate him to love humans? Is he gonna lock him up in a jail cell? I mean, what is he gonna do with him? He has this homicidal brother of his. I mean, what do you do? Do you send him to a health institution? I mean, there's just so many questions. And you know, it actually, I don't know if, well, here's what I'm thinking. You remember how the original Full Metal Alchemist anime ended at sort of, well, not really a cliffhanger. Basically, the anime followed the manga up to a point, and then it split off into it split off to the best filler episodes I have ever seen in any anime series. But then they came back years later with Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, restarting the anime again and following more in tune with the manga. And I'm wondering if that would be a good idea or a bad idea to do that with Trigun. On the good idea, you could get to see fully animated scenes of the later episodes in the manga. On the bad side, you take a classic anime and just redoing it again, and diehard fans will obviously watch it over again. But even for me and my love of Full Metal Alchemist, I too also find that I've been having trouble watching Brotherhood because I've been rewatching a lot of the old episodes, and it's like I'm wondering to myself, should I skip ahead to when they get to the part where it splits off? And I'm not really that type of guy. I like to watch the series all the way through. So, leave a comment. Talk about it. Would it be a good idea if Trigun followed in the same suit as Full Metal Alchemist? Would it be a good idea to restart the Trigun anime series? Our final questions come from Sonic DX Kid, and he writes, Ask MangaMan Q's. Question 1. Did you ever watch the anime Slayer's Revolution? If so, what are your thoughts on it? Have I watched Slayer's Revolutions? Have I watched Slayer's Revolutions? I quote back to my previous statement in saying, I am a manga man! In case you didn't get that, I am a huge fan of the Slayers series, and I've watched all of the regular series and a number of the OVAs already. The only thing Slayers related that I haven't watched are the movies, and I am going to get on that soon. But Slayers Revolution, I believe that was the 4th anime series to come out from the Slayers saga. The Slayers has a history in which the first 3 series, Slayers, the Slayers next, and then the Slayers Try. The first three came out in the 90s, and then later when the 2000s hit, two new Slayers series came out. The Slayers Revolution and Slayers Evolution R. I adore 90s anime, as you well know. So I have to say I like the 90s version of the Slayers better. Although I do very well I enjoyed Slayers Revolution. It was a very nice trip to go back and see all my favorite characters again of Gauri, Amelia, Lena Inverse. But I don't think it was the best that the series had to offer. As for that, I have to leave that to Slayers Next, is my pick for the best of that series. In Slayers Revolution R, Lena and Gauri are searching for a replacement weapon for the already lost Sword of Light. If you remember from Slayers Try, Gauri lost that sword in... well, I'll have you watch the series to find that out. Along the way, they meet back up with Zeldigus and Amelia, and they go off in searching, but then they come across an Inspector named Weiser, who is after Lena Inverse. And also they meet up another character who is a prince of a sleeping kingdom. I forget his name, but he's what I like to call the unannounced plushie character to be introduced into the Slayer series. I mean, that's what I think he was basically made for, just to make some plushie dolls. Now, I'm not saying he's a bad character. He's a fine character. And I think this series also featured its final boss, its final villain was this big, blue, fiery dragon dog thing. Now, one thing that I liked about the Slayers is the baddies. In the first Slayers series, it was this embodiment of evil, this big entity. There was a whole bunch of demon lords and whatnot. And I was hoping in this new Slayer series that we would see some more of those big monster lords to see what other big bosses there are. But sadly enough, we didn't see them. But yeah, I still enjoyed the series.